Salems Lot UK presents A Return to the Lot. Ben slumped onto the old stool at the edge of the bar. His face pale and tight with exhaustion.
"Well, Tookie,"
he said, voice low and gravelly.
"You saw it with your own eyes. Vampires. Real ones."
Tookie, drying a glass with a trembling hand, gave a weak chuckle.
"You sound like my brother-in-law. He called me a few weeks back. Swore strange things were happening down at the lot. Then, nothing. Disappeared. Took my sister, I think. Left town without a trace."
Mark turned to him sharply.
"Who's your brother-in-law?"
A voice behind him chimed in. Ben, ever alert.
"Wait, you don't mean Officer Gillespie?"
Tookie nodded grimly.
"Officer Gillespie is your brother-in-law?"
Ben asked, brows furrowing. Before Tookie could answer, the door creaked open. A figure stepped into the bar, silhouetted in the pale glow from the streetlight beyond. A wide-brimmed hat cast shadows over his face.
"Good evening, gentlemen,"
came the smooth, confident voice. Ben stood abruptly, eyes narrowing.
"Straker."
The man tipped his hat slightly.
"Indeed. And it's Mr. Straker to you."
A sudden tapping sound broke the tension. Light, rhythmic scratching against the window. Everyone turned. There, just beyond the glass, stood Father Callahan, his grin chilling as he stared directly at Ben.
"How are you still alive?"
Mark said in disbelief, taking a step back. Straker's voice echoed, unnaturally calm.
"You have much to learn, young Petrie. When you become the master's servant, you're given a gift. I took a full round of bullets and I'm still standing. And now, so is Barlow."
"Barlow?
Ben breathed.
But, how?"
Straker's eyes gleamed.
"He was never destroyed on hallowed ground. Every time I feeds him, the blood soaks into the cellar. The soil, the ash, they take it in. It revives him, regenerates him. You thought you killed a being that has walked this earth for hundreds of years?"
A chilling scrape against the glass tore Ben's attention back to the window.
That looks like Ned Tebbets.
He whispered.
And Old Weasel too."
Straker gave a hollow laugh.
"Ah. More of my family arrives."
Suddenly, Tookie lunged with a baseball bat, aiming straight for Straker's head. The wood whistled inches above him. Ben reacted fast, diving at Straker and tackling him to the floor. They struggled violently, overturning a bar stool and smashing a nearby glass.
"Mark. A stake. Quick."
Ben shouted, wrestling to keep Straker pinned. Mark scrambled for Ben's bag, tossing bottles and tools aside. Tookie dropped the bat and joined in, helping hold Straker down.
"Now Mark."
Ben grunted.
"We can't hold him much longer."
Mark found the stake and hammer, shoving them into Ben's hands. With one final effort, Tookie pressed Straker's chest down as Ben lined up the stake. The hammer swung high, and came crashing down. Straker let out a guttural growl as the stake pierced his heart. Ben struck again. And again. Finally, Straker fell still. Ben collapsed backward onto the floor, breathing hard.
"He won't be coming back."
Mark's eyes darted to the window.
"What about Barlow?"
"This any good?"
Tookie asked, stepping out from behind the bar, holding a heavy crossbow. Ben and Mark turned. Ben raised an eyebrow.
What else does he keep back there?
Tookie handed him the weapon. Ben walked slowly toward the window. Callahan was still there, waiting. Smiling. Unholy eyes burning into him. Ben muttered under his breath.
Forgive me, Father, for what I'm about to do.
He raised the crossbow. Took aim. The bolt flew cleanly through the thin glass, punching a dime-sized hole before slamming into Callahan's chest. The priest let out a scream as his body convulsed, then exploded into a fine mist that drifted away into the night. Ben was already reloading. He turned the crossbow toward Ned Tebbets, now pressed against the window, his lips moving slowly.
Susan.
Ned moaned, voice distorted and deep. Ben froze. The name slicing into him like a blade. Emotion flooded his chest. His hands trembled. Then Mark stepped forward, snatched the crossbow, and without hesitation pulled the trigger. The bolt shattered the window. Ned didn't scream, just vanished in a whisper of ash. Mark turned to Weasel.
You're invited.
He said coldly. Weasel hissed, and surged through the shattered window. Arms outstretched, he collided with Mark and the two crashed into the wall, knocking loose a padded booth cushion. Ben grabbed the crossbow, quickly reloading.
Hold him still, Mark.
He shouted. Mark grunted, struggling against the creature's unnatural strength. Ben took aim, and fired. The bolt ripped through Weasel's back and pierced his heart. Weasel howled in agony, then shrieked his final words.
Getting warmer!
Before collapsing into a lifeless pile of ash. Ben exhaled, letting the crossbow fall.
Tookie. You got any wood?
He asked, already heading toward the windows.
We need to board these up.
Tookie nodded, disappearing behind the bar again. Mark stared out into the dark.
What about Barlow?
Ben paused, then looked back.
We finish Barlow tomorrow.